Hello, my name is Roberto Mendez. Today I'm presenting the difference between pile driving hammers and when to use each one. First and foremost, for those who are not familiar with pile driving, it is the process of inserting a prefabricated pile into the ground by force. An impact hammer is used to make the pile penetrate the soil. Piles can be made of reinforced concrete, steel, or timber. Sheet piles may also be driven for retaining walls. Caltrans consider several types of hammer that can be used for this operation, each one with advantages and disadvantages. This presentation is a guideline on how to choose a hammer considering project conditions. The first type is a drop hammer, which is the simplest, and it consists of a weight that is lifted to a controlled height and then released to hit the pile cap and force the pile into the ground. This is best for timber and small concrete piles in small projects where a precise control of strength is needed. However, before considering this hammer, the special provisions must be verified to ensure this hammer is allowed for any given project. The air hammer is a system that uses either air or steam to lift the hammer's ram to a predetermined height, and then it falls by gravity, impacting the pile cap, driving it into the soil. This type of hammer can operate at a rate of 60 to 70 strokes per minute. Another version of these hammers are the double-acting hammers, which have an additional valve that pushes the piston downwards to drive the pile with additional force. This version can reach up to 120 or 240 blows per minute. This hammer is best with sheet piles or regular piles in mildly strong grounds. However, one of the most significant advantages is that some of these hammers are completely enclosed, allowing for underwater pile driving. Whether to choose a single or double action hammer depends on the soil's tenacity. Diesel pile hammers, on the other hand, work by lifting the ram with a crane and let it fall by gravity. After that, the diesel mechanism is activated and fuel is injected into the combustion chamber. The pressure and temperature of the compressed air will make the fuel ignite, and that will push the anvil downwards and the ram upwards simultaneously. This action will drive the pile and allow new fresh air enter into the combustion chamber to repeat the process until the pile is successfully driven. Diesel hammers usually operate at rates of 40 to 60 blows per minute. The double-acting diesel hammers have the same principle as the air hammer. An additional combustion chamber is placed on top of the ram to push the ram downwards with even more power and speed. Diesel hammers are typically used for heavy-duty piles or very dense soils that require a considerable amount of energy to drive the piles, like in heavy civil projects. One additional thing to consider about these hammers is that they are the least environmentally friendly among all types of hammer, and they are very noisy. The vibratory drivers are a special type of hammer that use two sets of rotating weights that deliver small strokes at high speed. The vibration created by this type of mechanism is transmitted to the pile, allowing it to move in the soil in which it is being driven. The vibratory drivers are most effective when used in granular soils as sand and gravel, and can be used for almost any type of pile. Additionally, it doesn't disrupt the structural integrity of adjacent structures. Unfortunately, they have a major disadvantages. Piles driven with this process tend to not be very solid. Therefore, they are mostly used for temporary work such as sheet piles, test piles, or false work piles, as stated in Caltrans special provisions. Nonetheless, this hammer is most commonly used for removing piles that have already been driven. The hydraulic hammer has the same principle of the single-action hammers. It uses a hydraulic system to lift the ram to a predetermined height to later release it, forcing the pile into the ground. It is one of the most versatile hammers as it can drive various types of piles, such as H-piles, pipe piles, timber piles, and concrete piles. Furthermore, it is quieter than diesel hammers, making it a better alternative for projects performed in urban environments. Lastly, the differential acting hammer has similar characteristics as the double action hammer. The only difference is that instead of having two mechanisms to lift and then push the ram downwards, they have only one changing mechanism that constantly switches direction to apply force to both movements. The mechanism may work with air pressure as air hammers or with a fluid as hydraulic hammers. Depending on which mechanism it has, the optimal operation may be determined using the same information aid criteria from the past slides.